take it all the way from the beginning? Alright.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy True, and I'm back again with MKTP, The Closet. I got a very special guest. I'm all the way out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Longtime friend. We talk about sneakers just about every day, and that's not an exaggeration. That's real deal, real life. So I'll let him introduce himself.
I am Tim Robinson. Technically, we're cousins. I'm married to his first cousin.
That is true.
He didn't even introduce us. Love you, Cindy. But he didn't introduce us. We went to high school together. We really didn't talk much in high school.
Right.
We went to college together. We were suite mates at the greatest HBCU ever, Southern University.
Shout out Southern University.
And we created a bond once we were in college, of course. And he really got me into sneakers because when he worked at Foot Locker, he was able to get me a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to get. And I'm lazy. If I can't get it, I'm hating. I'm like, the shoe is trash if I can't get it. Luckily, he was able to work at Foot Locker and get me everything I needed. So True got me in the shoes.
That's what it's all about. Definitely glad to hear that. That was crazy times back then during the Foot Locker times. I definitely got you just about anything. If you had the money, I was cool with grabbing it. I was young and I hooked up a lot of people. It was crazy. Definitely was crazy.
That family and friend discount was nice.
Yeah.
I got those Jordan 20s for like what, $100?
Yeah, when we used to do 50 off and all that stuff, obviously we already was getting 30% off and all. So, and back then, whenever we got 50 off and stuff, there really wasn't no restrictions. If the shoe was there, you can get it 50 off. They didn't have any restrictions. Maybe the only thing I remember was maybe all white forces or all black forces. That was like real hot. But besides that, anything was fair game.
All white forces. Yeah, I remember everybody at Southern either had the all white forces or the all black forces.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I guess before we get to Southern, what do you remember high school wise people were wearing, sneaker wise?
So for us it was different because at East Ascension, I mean, maybe a handful of people had Heat. I think for the most part people were wearing Reebok Classics, Air Max, and some people had G Knights. Shout out to Sim, because Sim called me out on the Sneak Diss podcast when he said, Tim, you know people was wearing G Knights in Baton Rouge. He is absolutely correct. Air Force Ones, but we called them G Knights. A handful of people had G Knights. One of my friends had them. Shout out to Romaine. He had those gray ones my senior year. He was a sophomore. He was 2 years behind me, but he had the gray ones. And he was one of the first people, honestly, at East Ascension they used to wear Air Force Ones, or what we call G Knights. So I think Reebok Classics, G Knights, a couple of people had Jordans. I remember those patent red 11s came out, and I remember Nisi had got all those bread 11s for the basketball
I remember
team.
that. Yeah,
I remember that.
All of them had bread 11s. I remember that. Dang, yeah. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember a lot of what people had. I know I had
Shell toes was popping out.
Shell toes was popular. A lot of people did have shell toes. When I had my first little summer job, and I bought a pair of shell toes. That was like a big deal. So I do remember that. In high school, what about you? You remember were you big on shoes then, or you just wore whatever?
Nah, well, whatever. Absolutely not. Well, whatever. But for me, I wore a lot of Dope Mans, Nike Cortez. I wore Dope Mans, Adidas shell toes. I got my first pair of Jordans. My sister got me a pair of Jordans my senior year. They were the Retro 9. I want to say navy and Carolina blue.
Oh, I remember those. Were those low top?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I remember those because I remember you came to Southern, you had them. So your first pair of Jordans was in high school, senior year.
Yes.
Sister bought them for you.
Yep. And I used to wear a lot of Cortez and Reebok Classics. Like, those were my go-to shoes. They were easy to go with everything. And there was another shoe I had got my senior year. Steve Madden's.
Oh, Steve Madden's.
Steve Madden's was popping when we were in school.
Was it Eastlands?
Eastlands was more middle school.
Okay, Eastlands was more middle school.
Eastlands was more middle school. But for the most part, I mean, Reebok Classics, they were just the easiest shoe to get. They were super cheap. You can get several pair.
I remember the kind with the colorful tip.
Yeah, that was middle school. I wish those came back out. I would definitely grab those.
You would grab a pair of those?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, in high school, did you buy your own shoes or your parents bought them, or how did that work?
A mixture.
Do you remember the first pair of shoes you bought for yourself?
That is a great question. Whew. I think the first pair of shoes I did buy for myself, me and John used to cut grass.
That's how you made money, cutting grass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cutting grass and burning CDs. I used to slang CDs in high school.
Tim did burn CDs. He was real big on burning CDs back then. So yeah. So you use that money.
Rest in peace to Josh. Josh was the ultimate CD slanging man, and he will still give me my material to burn for people. Like, he will still say, "Hey Tim, I got you." He'll burn me what I need for me to make my own money, because he had his own clientele and I had my clientele.
That's what's up. That's dope.
But yeah, I would burn CDs, make money. I think the first pair of shoes I bought was those Reeboks that zipped up.
Reeboks that zipped up. They were high tops or low tops?
They were high tops. I think that was the Emmitt Smiths, the Shrouds, or it was a zip up.
Oh
Reebok.
yeah.
I got them for just for feet.
Okay, got you. Okay, yeah.
I made that money cutting grass. I think.
What made you pick those?
I love them.
Oh, you love? Okay.
Yeah, $49.99. I want to say is how much I paid for.
Just for feet. Shout out just for feet.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody will be able to receive that shout out, because I don't know anybody that used to work with Just for Feet. They're not in business anymore. But Just for Feet was right now back in Baton Rouge. It is a furniture store, but back then Just for Feet was clutch as far as with a lot of sneakers and stuff. A lot of people went there. They always had a lot of sales and stuff like that. So definitely love Just for Feet. The first pair of sneakers I bought for myself was the Columbia 11s. I was in high school. I had saved money that I got for Christmas for them, and I actually wore them with some baby blue Adidas shorts and a white t-shirt. That's all I had to match them, and I wore them that next day. As soon as I got them, I came home from school. They were sitting on the bed. I was super excited, and that was the first pair of shoes I ever bought with my own money.
I wore a lot of Timberlands in high school too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where were you getting Timberlands from?
Journeys.
Journeys was
Journeys. I wore.
So I remember there was two types of Timberlands. There was the classic 6-inch, the kind they were in New York, and they had like some that it had a thick tongue. Yeah.
The Euro hikers.
You know which ones? Yeah. I had a pair of those. Those were,
I didn't start wearing the Euro hikers though till we went to college. I regret getting rid of them. I wish I would have kept them. Euro hikers were fire in my opinion.
Journey still has those. I was in the mall in New Orleans last week and I saw them.
I had a pair of brown, navy, all white, and I think I had an orange pair.
And you paid full price for your Timberlands?
My dad paid full price for them.
Back in the day, shoes used to go on sale a lot, like just like that, and they used to drop like substantially, not like a little $5-10, like it'd be 20, 30 and more. So
remember that 2 for $89?
2 for $89, yes, definitely remember 2 for $89. Working at Foot Locker, Foot Action, that was a nightmare. The 2 for $89. The shoes I remember most were New Balance 574s. A lot of them were color coordinated with school colors, so the navy, white navy, they had white and silver. I remember they had some Reeboks on there. I want to say the Delta 2s, Nike. Trying to remember what else. Pumas was on it. Yes, definitely Pumas. Pumas was hot back then though. They looked nice though. I remember the Pumas.
I think it was the Adidas Samoas. The
Adidas Samoas. Yes. Those were on there too. And a lot of them, it wasn't a whole bunch of shoes, but they just had a lot of different colors and stuff like that. For parents, that was like a dream. Be able to get 2 pair of shoes for less than $100. They loved that. I remember working in a stock room, so many shoes coming in. There was always just boxes and boxes, 2 for $89. That sale was always right around school, back to school. Real smart marketing thing. So I do remember that. I definitely remember that. So now from high school to college, with both of us going to Southern and being able to expand and see a lot more, any shoes you remember that stood out whenever was at college?
I mean, Jordans. Well, I can't really say they stood out. That's a good question. Which shoe really stood? Oh, Bapes.
Bapes. So that was the first time seeing Bapes.
Yeah, in college was definitely the first time seeing Bapes. I had a fake pair of Bapes. I am not ashamed. Because I couldn't afford how much Bapes go for?
They offer like $250 now, $225, $250 now.
I couldn't afford that. They used to have them replica sites. I had some good replicas. When I wore them on campus, you're like, man, you got them Bapes? I sure do. Because replicas actually was popular back then. I don't care what no one says. A lot of people were buying replicas.
Yeah, it was real big back then. They had a lot of different sites and stuff like that. I remember I did a few orders with sites. Jordans, the Yeezys.
Kitty Pig.
Kitty Pig was like the main one we went to back in the day. Good price. You get the box, you get the shoe, everything, and you just roll with it. I don't ever remember being called out for fakes. I don't never.
Because everybody's wearing them.
Yeah.
In Baton Rouge, I remember them SpongeBob Dub Zeros.
Yeah, oh my god.
Everybody had the racing jackets on and replicas.
Yep, that was it. Racing jackets was huge. They're on sale at Lids in the mall, and I looked at. I didn't consider getting one, but I looked at them.
Racing jackets?
Yeah.
I would actually buy one.
And just for a nostalgic thing, if I run across the right one, I guess when I'm older, it's hard for me to wear a jacket with another company and all that promoting it. And I'm not this big, I'm not the main guy that's always like, you got to pay me in order for me to wear your product and stuff like that. But I don't know, it just was like a lot. And I feel like I would have to do it with a company that I'm really cool with. DuPont, I would do a DuPont one. To me, that's like the classic one.
That's the one I had.
I'm a Jeff Gordon fan, right? You had the leather, the real deal one. Yours was like $500.
Because I remember TJ, shout out TJ. TJ had one too, and they was like, "Oh, y'all want each other jacket?" Nah, fam. He has his own, and I have my own.
We had Wilson's Leather at the Tanger Mall in Gonzales, and you and TJ had the real deal, authentic ones, like the $500, the real leather. It felt different. The quality of it was high end.
My sister bought it. I think she got it on sale, but my sister bought it for me.
So that's dope. That's definitely a good look. So yeah, racing jackets with Jordans and whatever shoe. I'm trying to remember. Did we order? Only fakes that were ordered were Jordans. I don't remember ordering fake anything else.
I ordered some fake Air Force Ones.
So you did order some fake Air Force Ones.
They were trash.
They were trash.
They were trash.
I had a pair of fake Air Force Ones that I got from a gas station in New Orleans, and they never creased. They were real fact.
Were they white?
They were white-ish. A mixture between off-white, beige, and white. But if you wear them and you walk in, nobody could tell that they were not white. But yeah, they weren't like the white, pure white, but they were close enough and they never creased. They were very durable. I don't know what they were made with, but
remember the Air Jordan Fusions?
I do. So the funny you say that. A lot of people were fans of the Fusions.
John had a pair.
John had a pair. My little brother Durante, shout out Durante, he had a pair. I wasn't a fan of the Fusions, but people did have them. They were big back then. Back then, for us, especially in college and stuff, people just wore. I don't gonna say wore anything. Well, I guess if it was Jordan, it was Jordan. It was never a separation of class of you have numbered Jordans and you got Fusions and you got this. For some people, it was because I remember you had some Dub Zeros.
I sure did, and I liked them at the time. I was excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm buying Dub Zeros.
Did you buy them full price?
Yeah, you got them for me. Yeah, I bought them full price. This was when I was working in the plant.
Okay, so I probably got them off for discount then.
And I got them them two for 20 Champ polos that Webby had on to give me that video.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Webby had a Champs polo, but it looked like it. But it was baggy. You couldn't tell me nothing. I used to have that baggy foot action baby blue polo with some baggy black Rockaware jeans and Dub Zeros.
I know you put me on Rockaware. I had a whole Rockaware fit, the belt and everything. You should tuck the front in so you can see the Rockaware belt. So yeah, I do remember that. And I guess to backtrack to high school, my first FUBU jersey with the city on the front was the Bronx. It was white and baby blue. I got that to go with my Jordan 11s.
I remember that.
Yes. So shout out Ron. Ron was working at FUBU back then.
I remember that. Had the Ali collection.
Correct. No, I tell you what, I got that one. The baby white and baby blue I got from JCPenney. Because when I wore it to FUBU, they asked me where I got it from because they didn't have the Bronx white and baby blue one.
I didn't know JCPenney sold FUBU.
They did sell FUBU, yes. I got a lot of my FUBU from JCPenney's. At the time, my dad worked for Eckerd's. JCPenney bought Eckerd's, so we had a discount. We actually still have it as a lifetime discount for JCPenney's. So I got a lot of my FUBU. South Pole. I wore South Pole. Tim didn't.
Absolutely not.
South Pole was white and baby blue.
Not.
That was like their main color, so I wore a lot of South Pole to wear with my Jordans and stuff like that. So
speaking of South Pole, remember when His and Hers opened up in Gonzales and everybody and their mama had South Pole?
I remember
everybody was wearing South Pole.
I never went. My mom never took me.
And I said, I refuse. I'm not wearing South Pole.
So in college, I don't remember a whole lot with shoes. I used to borrow my cousin Kareem's shoes though in college. I do remember that. He used to always have Air Max. Kareem always loved Air Max. He always had Air Max. So I would use his Air Max a lot.
So how you got in shoes? Speaking of talking about shoes.
So my cousin Kareem, he was older. Kareem was older. He was always the super cool cousin. He always kind of had sneakers and was always
Kareem?
Cool. Yeah, he used to have the Kobe's, the Crazy 8s. His dad and him used to buy him. He used to have Air Max. He was more into Air Max and Jordans, but he did have like Kobe's, Jordans, a couple of Jordans. Air Max was like the main thing and stuff. And I just remember I would always try to get shoes to impress him. So I remember getting shoes and going to him and like, yo, this is what I got. He'll be like, yeah, all right, or whatever, and stuff like that. And I would always feel like I would have to kind of step it up because I always wanted to impress Kareem because Kareem always had cool shoes. So whenever I would go look for shoes, I would always try to find something that I thought that Kareem would be like, yo, these are fire. Like this, you know, you've done your job. Actually, the first player shoes I had was the ES22. Emmitt Smith 22. I had them in middle school. I had the Emmitt Smith jersey to match, and I had Reebok wind pants, and I would wear that every Friday for a while.
Top 5 running back, dead or alive. He not 5.
So, and those shoes actually retro, and I got them again at City Gear they were on clearance, so I only paid like $40 or $50 for them, and I ended up giving them to my dad because my dad's a huge Emmitt Smith fan. He loves the shoes. The shoes are wide. My dad has wide feet, so I ended up giving them to him, and then I ended up buying him another pair later on. But yeah, that was the first like player the shoes that I had, ES22, Emmitt Smith 22. I'm a huge Reebok fan. I love the shoe. I love the way the shoe looked. And I was a fan of the shoe when it retro, and I saw it was on sale. I had to grab it. But that's how I got into shoes, because my cousin always used to have shoes. He didn't really care that much about them, and I just wanted to kind of impress him by having cool sneakers. So I would be researching and trying to find stuff. My parents bought all my shoes, so I was limited to what I could and couldn't get. So yeah, that's how I got into shoes. Never told the story before. So
this is definitely new information.
And now my cousin Kareem doesn't care about shoes at all. At all. So yeah. But so that was it. That was college. Trying to think. After that, sneaker wise, were you always outside of college, do you remember being into sneakers, or you just was like, it's whatever?
Yes and no, because remember I was trying to I went on a little sneaker binge, and at one point I was kind of like, I don't want to really buy shoes anymore. Then you started, MyKicksThePassion movement and whatnot. I kind of got inspired again, and I started buying, and then I stopped buying, and then I go through cycles. Like I feel inspired to buy shoes, and sometimes I don't. But now I'm inspired. I've been making some purchases.
I think you're more than inspired. I think he's officially a sneakerhead. But yeah, at one point I think it was like right before he moved out here, I kept trying to get the Air Up Tempos. That's a shoe I always wanted as a kid that I never had. Still to this day, I've never owned a pair of Air Up Tempos. But I remember seeing them, the Scottie Pippens, the black and white, just the classic ones. Tim had them.
I had one with the bubble all the way around. Not the one with the little bubble. The Gen Pop one. I had the bubble that went all the way around.
Like Booster said, I was 30 miles 40. So yeah, you had those. And I always wanted that shoe. And I don't know why I never came to purchasing it, but I always wanted it as a kid. That was the first shoe I remember me wanting as a kid. Like, I gotta have that shoe. And I was never able to get. The closest I came, it was at Wieners. We had a Wieners in Gonzales off of Airline Highway, and they were on the clearance rack on Wieners, but the price wasn't low enough for my mom to pull the trigger. She thought about it.
I don't remember Wieners when I moved to Gonzales.
No,
we used to go to Wieners in Baton Rouge all the time, but I don't remember Wieners in Gonzales.
So, but the shoe came out in 96?
What, the
Up Tempos?
Yes, I was still living in Baton Rouge when those came out.
Okay, yeah, I was in Gonzales. Yeah, I remember seeing that Wieners, and I don't even remember if they had my size. I found the size closest to me. If not, found my size, and I brought them to my mom. They didn't have a box or anything. They were just on the clearance rack, where they just a rack full of shoes. And I tried everything I could to get them, and I couldn't get them. And I ended up getting it's a pair of Penny Hardaway shoes. I don't remember the name of it. I probably have it up on the screen now, but I remember getting those instead. And now these days I actually really like those. I'll try to get them again if they come back out. I'm gonna have to look them up. But yeah, so now you're officially a sneakerhead. So we'll, you're into it. So one thing I definitely want to talk about and jump into with you, because I think you're more into this and in tune to this, and can answer this better than anybody. Sneakers and fashion, and that being a thing and collaborative coming together. Are there rules? Are there not rules? Can you wear, like with suits, Jordans? Should you not wear? I guess we'll start off with sneakers and fashion. Is it a big thing? In a sense, I say that because most people can't dress but have fire shoes, and some people dress great. And I guess it's hard to say what is and what isn't fire shoes, but is it important whenever you're wearing certain sneakers to have the outfit to go with it?
Honestly, it's a gray area, because with fashion, it's all about confidence. And it's like I can wear an outfit and someone else can wear the outfit the same way, but they'll look goofy, but I can pull it off.
Right.
And it's all about confidence. And I feel certain shoes you can wear with the suit, but you really got to have that confidence and that about yourself to be like, damn, he pulled them off and not look goofy.
So would you wear sneakers with a suit?
It depends on the sneaker.
Not Jordan. I think you would do what, low tops and not Jordans, or? Well, I'll let you. I want to know.
Honestly, it depends. Like those patent leather bread ones that just recently came out. They came out beginning of this year or last year, I want to say.
End of last year. Yeah, it was December release. Patent leather bread ones. Yes.
I really think you can pull those off with a suit. I really do. Now, I think some people get suits and tuxedos confused. There's a difference. There's a difference. You can pull it off, but like I say, man, you really got to have that drip about yourself to pull that off. You got to have the confidence to do it.
Right.
Now, a safe sneaker to wear with a suit is a Stan Smith, a Jack Purcell. It's just such a classic sneaker. Now, of course, you're seeing a lot of people. Nah.
So Jordan 3s.
I wouldn't. A lot of people are wearing these more luxury shoes with suits. At the NFL draft, you saw it a lot.
Alexander McQueen, and stuff like that.
Alexander McQueen's. I'm a low-key hater about them because I'm a big fan of the Stan Smiths, and they copied off the silhouette.
Right.
And I think the Stan Smith is just more of a cleaner and classier look. I think the Alexander McQueen's is too trendy. Now, don't get me wrong. We all like trends.
Right.
Some trends I like, but that one, I'm just not riding that wave. So I'm not at all. I would prefer a Stan Smith over an Alexander McQueen any day. And someone can gift me a pair of Alexander McQueens, and I'll more than likely sell them, or I would wear them. But it's just not my style.
Even for free?
Yeah, it's not my style. It's really not. I think there are better luxury shoes out there that you can wear with a suit, like those Pradas. They kind of, I want to say, they're similar to a Dunk. They recently came out, and speaking of that, I think it's funny because a lot of these luxury brands basically bite off, your Nikes, your Adidas, I don't want to say Reeboks, but New Balance, because those Christian Dior, I forgot the number of them, they bit off New Balance.
I remember when you first saw it, you sent it to me, and I'm always playing devil advocate, and I think I was just kind of like, well, that's what luxury brands do, which I feel they do, but like you say, Chuck
Taylor's, the Christian Dior high tops, those look good with a suit.
Okay, the Christian Dior's, that has Dior all over the entire shoe. Gotcha.
You can do New Balance with a suit, actually, but I'm biased. I like New Balance.
So, no 3s. I'm trying to think what else. 11s.
You can. I mean, I feel so many.
It's been done too much, so it just doesn't hit as hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess can you do like a Reebok Classic, or that's like too much of just a Gen Pop shoe that you can't dress that up?
You can. You just, like I say, man, you really gotta have that
confidence. How important is your suit being tailored?
It's extremely important. You can't be around here wearing the early 2000s, late 90s baggy Steve Harvey suits.
So suit tailored plays an extreme important part whenever you're wearing sneakers with a suit.
Yeah, you got it. It has to be tailored. You can't be out here wearing baggy suits and the pants leg flop over the shoe. It's just not a good look. But don't get me wrong. You got some of these fashion gurus like A$AP Rocky, a couple of others that wear the real expensive sneakers with the flare type of pants. I'm not a big fan of it, but some people can pull it off.
What about as far as like a casual look, like maybe slacks and a little button up and stuff like that? Does that broaden the spectrum for more shoes that you can kind of rock that way? Because Jason Sudeikis comes to mind for me. He does that a whole lot.
Yeah.
He usually has like maybe a vest or just a button up and slacks and Jordans and stuff like that. He's known for that.
But I think he has good confidence to pull it off. Like everybody can't pull off that look.
Okay.
You got some people got their Jordans strung up tight, feet can't even breathe. They just look goofy.
So, as far as what's your take on?
Again, these are all opinion based. I don't care if someone challenges me. I stand on what I say. But these are my opinions. Because me and him talk about it all the time. He was like, well, of course it's your opinion. Nah, because some people feel when you say something, you think your word is gold. Now, granted, I probably do think my word is gold.
Fashion is your thing.
This is my opinion.
What about people or the look? I ain't gonna say people, just the look of the mannequin look. Like you get the Jordan shoes with the Jordan shorts and the Jordan shirt to match. Do you consider that fashionable? Is that your thing, or is that kind of like?
It ain't my thing. I'm sorry, it isn't my thing, but it works for stores like Foot Locker because they're able to push. Because some people don't care about fashion; they just want something to go with their shoes and go.
Right.
It's easy. It's like, hey, I see that, I want that. Let me get this to go with my shoes and go. Because it's a lot of cats I know that has the mannequin type of style. I don't knock it. It's not my style. I mean, I don't knock it, but it's effective because I'm sure when you worked at Foot Locker, you probably seen that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we used to have S3s. S3s was like you got to sell up, and there were certain items like insoles, cleaner, and like shirts and stuff like that. So yeah, that was always a part of it. So yeah, that was a big deal. It does help out. A lot of people want to get a one-stop shop, so they'll try to buy everything there. A lot of people are just lazy and just don't know what to wear with it and stuff like that. There's very few people that are real fashionable, I guess, when it comes to, and I say few, but I would say the percentage is less than, I would say it's about 50-50 now. I would say less than 50%, but the more I look on social media, a lot of people are into it. And there are some people that stand out, celebrity or not, that have that good balance whenever they're rocking sneakers and outfits and stuff like that.
So I'm going to reverse the question. What is your take on it? Because I know you say you're not a big fashion guy. I mean, you low-key are. You say you're not. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't care about what you wear outside of, your sneakers. You make sure your sneakers go or flows with what you're wearing.
I do. For me, it's important. I'm a huge graphic t-shirt guy. I like graphic t-shirts. To me, they make a statement. I always like when I wear certain shirts, people's trying to read it, people's trying to look at it. I get asked more questions about wearing graphic t-shirts than I do sneakers or anything else. I think it has a profound impact when you wear them. So to me, when you have a nice graphic shirt that has, your favorite character or something, or some type of wording or something, and then you have shoes to go with it, that it definitely pops. I feel like it's important, man. I feel like the whenever you're rocking fashion or shirt and sneakers, the outfit plays a big part in it. I think you can have dope sneakers, but if your outfit isn't hidden, it just kills it. And your outfit doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It just has to, I think fit is important. I think the way it fits on you and how it looks is important. I think that plays into it. Confidence is huge for men and women with just clothing, shoes, fashion all together. I think that if you're conscious about it, it shows. If you're not, it shows too. I guess I'm laughing because I'm curious to know for how many people that the look is important, and just something to think about, like when you approach someone or someone approaches you and you look down at their shoes or their outfit or how they put it together, how important is that to you? Like, how much does that play into what you think about them? I think that's a big thing.
But see, I'll challenge that because this whole dirty shoe trend is in now. Like, if you look at the white Air Force Ones that look beat up, not my style. I think that trend is trash. But you have some of these other vintage looks. Golden Goose is a luxury brand. They kind of do the dirty look. Off-white kinds of gives that beige yellowing on the sole. I want to say not all off-white shoes, but some of them. I'm talking the collabs, not the actual off-white brand. I'm not 100% sure if they do the vintage look with just strictly off-white brand sneakers.
Right. I would say, I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick break and then we'll come right back and I will answer that question. And we're back. So I'll just jump straight into the question. It's crazy because the one thing I've noticed more so as of lately is shoes are becoming trendy. And when I say trendy, vintage look is in. So people are making vintage looking shoes and stuff like that. The bulky dad shoe was in, so that was being made for a while. It's funny because now that I think about it, there's certain shoes that are classics that have just been the same forever, and there's a lot of shoes and looks that are like in now. And even with New Balance now becoming more to the forefront in the southern and other areas and stuff like that, I know it's been big northeast, if I'm not mistaken.
DMV area specifically, you got to give them their credit. You got to give DMV credit when it comes to New Balance. They really started the movement from the whole New Balance movement, as far as people want to wear New Balance. They've been super popular because I wore 574s, but when I went to DC, I didn't mean to cut them off, but I had to. When I went to DC, kick it with my boy Mark, shout out Mark, that lives out there, and I was just like, damn, these New Balances like really a nice little wave. And then I just started buying 992s, 993s, 550s. I branched out. 990 V5s. The latest New Balance I got is the 990 V3, I want to say. Levi collab. But New Balance are very comfortable and they're stylish. I really think you have to be stylish to pull off a pair of New Balance. And now New Balances aren't easy to get as they used to be. But I think, I'm getting a hype beast. Hype beasts for me are ruining, I don't want to say ruining the culture. I'm not going to say that. They ruining, the experience of buying New Balance, because New Balance used to be easy to get. But now these brands like Joe Fresh Goods, Aim Leon Dior, they're doing these collabs with New Balance. And it's hard to get some of these collabs. Now, don't get me wrong, the quality on these collabs are super nice.
Right.
But it's just so frustrating if you already were a fan of New Balance. Now it's much harder to get the ones you want.
Well, I would say this. Number one, the New Balance is going, I'm assuming that they're either going to these guys, or if the guys are coming to them, they're accepting it. It can easily be like, no, that's not what our brand is about. We have our brand substantially built for being what it is, an American-made shoe brand, and we want to keep it that way. So somebody in marketing and somebody at New Balance and stuff is like, yo, let's do this. Let's make this happen. So, you can't be mad at that. And another thing, I think for most people, I don't look at New Balances like Jordans. I look at Jordans more so like Drake, in the sense that they release more often. They're more doing features and stuff like that. New Balance is more like Kendrick Lamar. When people buy them, or most of the true fans, you buy your couple pair and you're good. You're not really buying sneakers and stuff like that, if that makes sense. Because most people before
New Balance fans, I know, they buy New Balance often.
That often? As often as Jordan people? Because I don't.
That's a great question.
I
will say this, for some of your listeners, I'm definitely gonna tag some of the guys I know that's from the DMV area. I can't think of his handle. He's been on New Balance. He actually influenced me to get those 992 seersuckers.
Right.
I seen him on his channel. I wish I had his name on hand, but definitely I'm gonna tag him once you post everything. And
New Balance released fairly often though.
He would have to answer that question because he's from the DMV area and he's been wearing New Balance.
Okay.
And now he's seeing, how everyone is caught on the wave, because I think he posted a question on his Instagram in regards to, if you only have New Balances that are collabs, are you a hype beast? And of course I answered yes. And he had, a good poll.
Right.
But I'm definitely gonna, once we finish, I'm gonna definitely get his information so he can definitely see this and have his take on it.
So all right, good. So now we're transitioning into more questions. So you feel like if you only have New Balances that are collabs, you're a hype beast?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you just said the collabs are better quality.
They are. They are.
So you're going to fault someone for just getting the better quality of your product?
You know what? Let me backpedal, Dion. Let me backpedal. Certain New Balances have great example. The ones I just bought.
Right.
2002s. The quality, they okay, but when we went to, I forgot what sneaker shop we went to this past.
Undefeated?
Undefeated.
No, what they had? Which ones? Because
it's the
Undefeated.
collab, like.
Oh, the Salehi Bimbies. Okay, so that was, I think, Phoenix Soul or something like that. They had them in stock.
The quality on those were fire. I can't even front. But when you get just a general release, a 992 and a 993,
right,
or a 990 V5 or any of the 990s, the collab or not, the quality is there.
So I see he's been trying to get me to get New Balances for a while.
He hates New Balance.
I came close to getting some. I'm like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Just stay tuned. If I get a pair, I'm gonna try to do a little thing where I'm gonna wear them for 30 days straight, because I want to see quality, durability, and comfort. That's the thing I'm gonna do. So that'll be my shoe for like an entire month if I get a pair.
Because I think that's the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. Next to Reebok Classics.
I think Reebok Classics are super comfortable. I'm not a fan of New Balances. I think they're just old men shoes, and they're just for people that you know, are just in need of just a comfortable sneaker to just go to work and go home with, stuff like that. Yo, I mean, you know, now with these collabs and stuff, they're starting to make them a lot cooler. So I guess I'll go back to another question and say, what is your definition of hard to get? Because you said now New Balances are hard to get. So what is hard to get?
Great example. If I put in a raffle and I'm not chosen, I'm hating because I can't get it. Or if the internet keeps crashing when you're trying to get a shoe, that's hard to get for me. And it sucks because it's like, well, damn, if I can't get them, who are getting these shoes? And I don't understand the whole bot thing. You have to educate me on that. I don't even know how that works.
I've known a couple people that had it. I mean, to my understanding, it's an algorithm, and you just put in what you need as far as the information, and the bot knows that as soon as it just scours, I guess, the internet or sneakers, certain sites. I know some of them, when you try to buy them, it'll tell you this one works for Foot Locker, Champs, Nike, and stuff like that. New Balance, Adidas. So if you buy the one, it'll scour those sites, and when that product drops for the formula that you put in, like anytime a Jordan 1 bread drops in size 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, buy it. And I assume your credit card information is already loaded, and it just does it instantly. Okay. So hard to get. You'll say the site crashes, or yes, whenever you put in a raffle, you lose.
Yeah. Like if I constantly lose, it ain't me. I'm hating. It ain't me.
All right. And I guess I had another question that you brought up, and I wanted to, I guess, ask you now on camera. You said, I'll ask you, can you have all Jordans and be a sneakerhead?
Okay. This is a situation where two things can be true. I want to say no, but then again, if that's all you wear, and especially if you have a nice collection, you know, of course you're a sneakerhead. But right, I guess my definition of sneakerhead, and again, everyone's is different. I believe in having range. Right. If all you have is Jordans, because you can't wear Jordans all the time. Like, how often do you wear Jordans?
I only wear Jordans when I know I'm gonna go somewhere and they're going to be appreciated. I live in Baton Rouge,
define being appreciated.
I like when I wear a shoe and somebody knows what it is, and I can get some oohs and ahs, and people can look at them and stuff like that. Whenever I was wearing, we were out yesterday, and I had the Zebra 350s on, and the guy worked at the door. Every time I walked past, he would stare at them, and I noticed it. And so I knew that he knew what they were, and he appreciated seeing them in person. So I always say, I don't do this for me, I do this for y'all. But so yeah, so certain Jordans, depending on where I'm at, I'll be like, okay, where I'm going, if I wear the 11s, everybody gonna be like, oh, he got on 11s, he, you know, dope or whatever. If I wear these ones here, people gonna be like, oh, he got on the ones and stuff like that. But I try to wear other stuff more often. You can't wear Jordans with everything, I agree with you. I have a lot of Jordans though. So, and living in Baton Rouge, Jordans is like that top tier shoe. But traveling out here, I don't think I've worn Jordans since I've been out here yet.
Cause man, some of these spots you ain't getting in with no Jordans on.
SBs was big at home. It still is, so I wear SBs a lot at home.
This guy been on Dunks, SBs. I want to say since 2005. I remember we was in the mall, might have been in the dorm room, and he said, "Tim, these are hot," and it's so interesting seeing the evolution and growth of Dunks, how everyone wants them now. And I've said this. I think I told you this. I said when those Travis Scott SB Dunks came out, I said everybody gonna want Dunks. Yeah. And I really think that this may be a reach. Travis Scott really is a pioneer in the sneaker community.
That's that. I would say that is a reach, because I don't think he pioneered anything, because I would consider Kanye West a pioneer because he had new stuff. The only thing there was Travis Scott just brought attention to stuff that was already there. And I guess for me, my biggest question is with that is, how many people actually like his shoe or sneakers overall in general? Like, I'm always curious about it. Like, how many people genuinely be like, I like this shoe, like I like this Travis Scott shoe? Or is it just because it's Travis Scott, I want it because of that? Or is it because I feel like when I wear these, people are gonna know what they are? Like, I think the percentage of people that actually buy a lot of shoes they like isn't as high as we think it is.
I can agree with that. I guess All right, what is your definition of a pioneer?
Someone to, I guess I'll just use the Kanye West thing as example. Created his own shoe, his own lane, and was able to continue to be steady in the sense of do it over time and have many products that were successful. I mean, obviously with Jordan, you talk about multiple numbers, multiple style shoes, having everybody want them to be. Kanye West's stint isn't as long as Jordan. I'm trying to think, how long has he been doing it for 10 years?
He jumped over a jump, man.
But I would consider it that way. I think in order to be a pioneer in that fashion, in that world, it has to be new product. I don't think you can necessarily do it with product that's already there.
Okay, well maybe I'll retract, backpedal.
Well, no, that's how like you said, that's how I feel.
Maybe.
So if you feel Travis Scott is that guy, I just say all his shoes has just been other people's shoes. I mean, he's done Jordans for God's sakes. More people have bought them because they're Jordans than because they're Travis Scott's. He has done the Air Max. I'm just saying he has done Jordans. And he's done done like that's a Jordan shoe.
Well, I guess
it's not a Travis Scott shoe.
Well, can you say pioneer and influence is kind of in the same realm? Because Travis Scott has a huge influence.
Like, he has a huge influence, but I wouldn't call that being a pioneer because, like Apple, Steve Jobs, that's a pioneer. Influence is more like swaying emotions. Because Apple, Steve Jobs is a pioneer, but I can get Travis Scott to be in the studio with a MacBook and people will be influenced to buy that MacBook. This is what Travis Scott uses. This is the type of music he makes. I'm going to get that MacBook. Influence is different because you're just taking something else that somebody else has already built and just pushing it a little further. But you didn't create anything. It's already been created.
Now I will say this. The one Travis Scott sneaker I definitely think is fire are the Houston Oilers Color 4s.
I remember those were so cheap forever.
I love those.
Forever they were so cheap. And then after he blew up,
Cactus Jacks.
Yep, Cactus Jacks. That's them.
And I've tried to get them, and of course, I was unsuccessful.
You could have got them back in the day if you thought about it. I remember they were less than retail.
What year they came up? I never remember them being less than retail unless I wasn't paying attention.
I remember. I paid attention to them a lot. I mean, I guess doing this with sneakers and stuff like that, I check how people check Instagram and Facebook daily. I get on StockX really like it's the stock market, and I have a list of sneakers so the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 is a collection of stocks that are in a group, and that's how they determine, I think it's the Dow Jones, that's how they determine if the market's up and down. I do the same. There's a collection of shoes that I check the price of daily, and that's how I determine the sneakers if they're going.
I want to piggyback off that. I hate when people say, sneakers are not an investment. That is a lie.
I know people that invest in
money off shoes.
that pull their money out the stock market and just do sneakers because they say that
like you can really make money off sneakers if you do it right. You have to have a lot of patience too to be a reseller.
You do?
You have to have a lot of patience.
All right. Jordan 4 Travis Scott Cactus Jack was released June 9th, 2018.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think the market data will go far enough back to show sales that were like super cheap because people have been buying them like crazy. $1,000 seems to be the average of what they've been going for.
Yeah.
So no, can't have all Jordans and be a sneakerhead. Is that what you?
Okay.
That's what you're saying?
Everyone's definition is different, but mine, I feel you have to have range. I'm real big on having range, and not the same thing of everything.
Does being a sneakerhead first start with your first pair of Jordans? The reason why I ask that every show, everybody always asks.
I think so.
What's your first pair of Jordans? Like that's always the question. Never what's your first pair of Air Max? What's your first pair of shoes even?
If there were no Jordans, we would not have a sneaker community. Period.
Ooh, that's a bold statement. So there would be no sneaker community, no StockX, no gold, nothing if there weren't Jordans at all ever. Period.
Facts.
Man. Oh.
Like, of course, sneakers came out but no one cared until, Jordans were released. And every other brand, in my opinion, I feel is trying to do what Jordan has done or doing.
I feel that, but I think without Jordans, I think Air Forces were like that shoe. that kind of, because when I hear a lot of the other older sneakerheads like DJ Clark Kent and all them, like Air Forces was kind of that shoe. I would say we could have a sneaker community without Jordans. I don't know if it'll be as potent, but because I mean, I'm trying to think in my closet and stuff. If I took away all my Jordans, is that over 50% of my shoes?
That's a good question. I definitely know half of my collection is Jordans. Definitely.
I would say that too. I know I have a double-digit pair of ones alone.
Which is interesting. When did you even start wearing ones like that?
Tony always wore ones. He always wore ones, and he would always lobby for ones. And when he was working at Foot Action, they were just so easy to get. He would call me and be like, "You want these?" And I just finally was like, "All right, let me get some." And then after that, he would continuously ask me, and I would just pick them up. At that time, I don't even think I was into ones like that. It's just that the access was so easy and they were cheap, and he just always wore them. And I just started grabbing them. I had the top threes, the breads. I could have got the Chicagos. I told him no. I could have got the bread toe ones. I told him no, but he did call me for both of those.
Only ones I had were what? No, the first pair of ones I had were the Celtic ones. I got them from Jimmy Jazz for like $100.
What? Okay.
You the one told me to get them.
I did tell you to get them. I didn't know. I don't remember you paying just $100 for them.
That was 2013. I got them shoes.
Okay. Yeah.
They went on sale for $100.
So Jordans, I guess Jordans do start the collection. I guess
Absolutely.
Next question. Yeah, and this is just a crazy question because you talked about this before. Does any shoe qualify to be a beater? And the reason why I said that because you said before Jordan 1s are not beaters. They're not that you wear every day, you wear all the time shoe.
You know what? I'll backpedal on that. I think you can. I think if you wear a shoe so much, it's gonna be super comfortable by that time. And Jordan 1s are just easy to wear. Like some shoes are just hard to wear. I think a foam posit couldn't be a beater.
It's funny you say that because they got this guy and this kid in the barbershop and he has a pair of, and they still look good because foams don't deform in shape because of what they're made out of. I don't think they're comfortable enough to be beaters, but there's this kid and he wears them all, and they're the Spider-Man ones. There's the blue, black, and red ones, and he wears them all the time, and you can tell physically from looking at them that they are beaters. But on the flip side of that, whenever I'm going like out somewhere and it's going to be raining and I know I'm going to scuff up some shoes, I usually throw on foams. Like if I'm going like to New Orleans on Bourbon Street or something, even though they're not the most comfortable, mentally I know, all right, I might be out there for an hour, maybe two max. I can do foams, and foams I'll be fine with just going on Bourbon Street with.
You'll be surprised. The shoe that I will actually wear in the rain probably are my Royal ones.
Your Royal ones?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
They're easy to clean.
Oh man.
That's probably one shoe I would wear in the rain easily.
One shoe now though that I think qualifies as a great beater are the patent leather ones. They're easy to clean. You just wipe them off. I mean, you don't have to worry about the leather getting messed up or anything like that. Shout out Sid. She wore hers whenever she went to New Orleans, and I think that's like a great shoe to do that for and or with is the patent leather ones. So yeah. So beaters is whatever.
Yeah. Because my beater is a Reebok Classic. That's mine, personally.
I agree. Reebok Classics are great. I think people don't give them as much respect as
I think we biased because we from the area.
Yeah, I think so too. Do personal antics affect a person's sneaker sale to you? And what I mean by that is...
I don't know where you're going with this. That's a great question. We care for 5 to 10 minutes and then we stop caring. With the whole Kanye with the Trump thing.
Right.
Despise his politics. But after a while, I was like, I don't care. I just want the shoe because it's hot. Period. We don't care. Like our, I guess, people we like for as entertainment and fashion, we don't care. We say we do. We don't. We care for 5 to 10 minutes. We make a couple of tweets, a couple of posts, and then if we really like that person's product, we're gonna wear it.
So
we're gonna wear it.
I'm trying to think. I don't know anyone. I remember Greg said he did sell all his Yeezys. I don't know if he's bought any pair since because of the Kanye thing. I don't know anyone else that has really just gotten rid of shoes because of something that someone did. I mean,
I want to say on a Sneaker Talk, shout out to Devontae on his podcast. I think one of his guests did say they sold their Yeezys. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Because of Yeezy's antics. But
right.
No one cares. Like we care for a couple of minutes, then we move on. We don't care.
I remember somebody said on this Facebook sneaker group I'm in, the guy said, "You better sell your Travis Scotts now," because after the incident, they were like, "He's definitely his shoes are about to plummet." And somebody in the comments said, "You stupid. That's not going to happen." So you're right. I think sneakerheads, we are very forgiving, or just turn the other eye. There is no care of whatever you do.
Because I think
maybe if R. Kelly has shoes, but besides that, get rid of your R. Kellys.
We was talking about R. Kelly yesterday, and I you know, I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm not gonna seek out R. Kelly's music. I'm not a big R&B.
So you're
guy
not about to go get on your whatever you listen to music to and say, "I'm about to play this R. Kelly."
Yeah, but if "Step in the Name of Love" comes on a shuffle and nobody's around, and I'm like, yeah, Step.
So you gonna go ahead on and just roll with it?
I might get a couple of minutes. I'm like, I'll change it then.
So you're a kid. I know a lot of those songs are embedded in a lot of
Step
a lot
in the
of
Name
people.
of Love is such a classic song.
So what do you feel is the best way to get shoes? Like the best way as far as the raffle? Should we just do a line? Like, what do you feel the best way, just online, the best way you feel that was the most fair way that everybody has a chance to get shoes?
There's no such thing as a fair way. As long as you have employees working in the store, there's no such thing as a fair way. Like, there's no such thing. Because people that work in the stores, either raffle or stand in line, gonna look out for their friends. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. Like, a lot of sneakerheads are complaining about the whole Michael Jordan son doing the backdooring. I don't care. You do the backdooring. Backdooring has been going on since sneakers been invented. If you have someone that works at a store and you know they're a friend, they're gonna look out for you.
Right.
That's just what it is.
I mean, I didn't have a store. I just worked at a store and I looked out.
You know, that's just what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can do to get around it. You said it best yesterday when we were riding. If you really want something, you're gonna pay a little over to get it.
That's everything in life. That's not just shoes. I feel like that's like that with everything in life. That's I mean, just the whole sense of pricing things whenever it comes to having VIP section and just getting in the club regular. Certain hotels, like if you want it, you're going to pay more for whatever it is. You know, whether that is the regular price or whether somebody else is putting a premium on it. It just is what it is.
Definitely got to shout out Carranza, Benny. As Benny say, I pay for convenience.
Pay for convenience.
I pay for convenience.
So I guess to answer the question, do you have a way that you feel if you had to choose one way, if this company comes to you and say, "Tim, what's the best way? Should we do raffle? Should we just do store? People get in line?"
Sure, that's a great question because each region is different. Because my biggest thing is safety. I'm worried about everyone's safety.
Right.
I don't want anyone to get shot, stabbed, or anything over a pair of shoes. And I definitely, you got to read the room. You got to know what type of area you're in regards to how you want to release a shoe. Yeah. Because it could be a situation where someone's in line, you know, you got fam waiting in the parking lot, like, oh, you got those?
That used to happen back in Cortana Mall and stuff, yeah.
I don't know, man, because I feel even with the raffle, you know, cats are still waiting just depending on where you're at. So I can't really answer the question. I really don't know what is the best way. Because you can say a raffle, but depending on what type of raffle. Are we talking digital raffle or when you write your name and put it in the Dropbox?
I'm asking you, what do you feel would be the best? Because we did, like you say, we do digital online raffles. I remember doing raffle with the tickets. We used to have MKTP shirts with the tickets because that was like an era where...
So the raffle right now, that's trash. Like, I really believe, because I think when I was working at Chic, we didn't have the right to tickets. We did the digital raffles.
Right.
I'm a firm believer, people that take those raffle where you write on it, they don't be looking at that. They give all the shoes out to their friends or who they know, and whatever is left over, they'll just start pulling some random tickets out like, hey, yeah, you... all right, I'll call them. Because I'll never forget, man, I put in a raffle at Shoe Palace at Arrowhead Mall for a shoe, and then they called me weeks later for a shoe that I ain't even put a raffle in for. That's when I was like, yeah, this is trash.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. It is tough to really say, you know, what would be the best way. I don't know. I guess that's something that we'll find out in time. We're actually running out of time. We're up to 55 minutes, man. This flew by so fast. Is there anything else you want to say? Any shout outs you want to give? Any, you know, I have all your social media stuff up, but, you know, anything else you want to say about the sneaker community overall, or, you know, just any final thoughts for the people?
one thing I do admire about sneaker culture is how it can bring people together. Like people I know I normally wouldn't talk to.
Right.
You know, we talk and converse about sneakers. You know, this past weekend.
Yeah.
You know, chilling with Rico, chilling with Andy. Like I don't think we would. Devontae, I don't think we would talk to each other if we didn't. You know how it is. I'm not gonna walk to a guy like, "Hey man, what's up? You know, want to hang out?" But you know, after being on Sneak This podcast, you know, we just really started talking about sneakers, and you know, we talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. It brings people together like sports.
Yeah.
And if we can just stay safe, I think that's my biggest gripe about sneaker culture is sometimes it can get out of hand.
Right.
And I think that's it. That's all I got.
All right, man. Definitely appreciate you, Tim, man. This is MKTP, The Closet. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show, man. Like, subscribe, follow.
Y'all
We
better
appreciate y'all. Peace.